What's up, guys? It's Charles here to do a Rocket Punch Army review of this guy here. See if you can guess who he is, or probably already read the title anyway. But this is the box. And it comes in a plastic bag to protect it. And the reason this box is being protected because it is absolutely beautiful to behold. Yes, sir. Look at this thing. Might not look like much. It's just got basic colors, but the box definitely screams out, do not throw me away. Look at this. It's got a nice, beautiful satiny finish. You almost want to rub your face on it, maybe other parts of your body. And if we turn it around, this is what you get on the back. You'll notice how thick the edges are on this, what do you call it, the cover. And they really put a lot of thought into this, even though it's completely blank in the back. We'll go down here, you'll see it's got the logo, bunch of Japanese writing on here, and the name of the company called World Scope. Don't know much about this company, but this is, as far as I know, the first huge robot release that I know of, and I think they have thrown it out of the ballpark, whatever that saying is. So we're going to check it out. I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect the presentation to be this nice, and I didn't expect the size to be so freaking big. You'll notice, if we turn it around here, that it's got like a vintage style cover on here, which is the cutout with the window that shows a robot in the back. And look at that. That is just robot porn right there. The presentation is just amazing. I know it uses styrofoam. Some people don't like that, but I think for a figure like this, it definitely needs to be presented this way. I'm just like old school like that. And the only accessory you have is this right here. So I just want to, let's just go in there. Let's stop blabbing like idiots. You have to take that part off there. Then you have to take these little pieces off of here, which are nicely wedged in for the first time. You can see they wedged it in really tough, which is why the chest never poked through the window, even though it made the trek here from Japan. Alright, so let's take this bad boy out. A couple things you want to do is just spread the legs out here like so. Get the arms out just a tad, just to give it a more modern look. And let's just scan down this beautiful thing here. Look at that. Isn't that like robot porn? Now, a lot of you guys may not be into the design of this figure. Totally understandable. It's big and blocky, but it is based off one of those Japanese live action shows where there's actually a guy in a suit, which can also be a cool thing for some people. They kind of, it doesn't really look like a guy in a suit, but it doesn't really just look like a toy robot. It's kind of like a mix between both. And what I mean by that is this. I do have an older Chogokin, the Bandai one, and as you can see, it's just got that old school vintage blocky look. Now this figure I did a review of, so that's probably why this other figure might look familiar if you don't know anything about these. Nice figure, and it does have a transformation sequence where it's basically just a guy hunching over, but the robot would do it itself with batteries, but the gears break on these. If you're going to buy these, know that even if it's brand new sealed mint in box, it most likely will be broken out of the box or during the very first transformation. Now, what's cool about this is that it does have the ratchets in the right spot to get that straight, like, toy look to it, just like the Chogokin, except for the legs a little bit spread, but that's really just due to the design. But this thing really shines when you just separate the legs on those awesome ratchets and bring these arms out this way. Possibly the biggest question I've had on this guy so far is, does it have die cast? Fortunately it does, but not in the way you would think. It's not the body, like, you know, it's just really anything that's red. So you see this whole red chest piece, that's metal. I kind of lied because these little red bits aren't metal, but these little shin plates are metal, and also the bottoms of the feet here. And look at the way that paint just gleams on there. And speaking of looking at the textures like that, if you guys are familiar with third-party Transformers, like let's say Bad Cube, maybe Fans Project, they have that sharp kind of plastic. This is very similar. You can see how sharp the molding of the plastic. It's got that slight texture to it. All right, let's start off with the articulation. It does have a little bit of a ratchet. You can see the head moves up a little bit just to give it more articulation. You can hunch it down, but there is, it does seem like there's a very slight ratchet. You obviously get the ratchets here on the shoulders, ratchets on the arms. By the way, these ratchets, very sexy is the only word I can think of. You do have a little bit softer ratchets here on the elbows. Again, very delicious. It's also got some articulation here in the shoulders, back and forth. You do have the hands here on a ball joint, not too much movement. Check this out. I love this. Articulated fingers, and they're just not the four fingers stuck together, and they're also individual knuckles right here. You can see little pins on the side of the finger. You get the articulated thumb. You also get a little back and forth movement right here. Also the waist right here, which kind of bangs up to the back here. So I'm surprised they even worked that in. You only really get one ratchet. I don't really want to force the wings out here on the back. Now, you actually can move these out of the way, but it's really not going to help much since this little gray area here kind of gets in the way anyway of the ratchet, as I'll show you here. Just like that. So you can't go any further. You do have these little Gundam type skirts that come out a little bit just to get these legs to come up. And there's also a photo of this guy doing a high kick. I'm going to see if I can do that somehow. Alright, mission accomplished. Look at this thing. I didn't expect a figure that's so freaking blocky to be able to do that. Anyway, losing track of what we're doing right now, which is the articulation. So you have all these panels that move out of the way. You also have the hip joints that are on beautiful ratchets. You also have ratchets on the thigh swivel. And of course you have ratchets on the knee. That would be a sin not to have ratchets on the knee here. The ankles, probably the only thing I wish would have had ratchets. These little lines here give the illusion, I guess, that it would have ratchets. It totally doesn't. They're not the tightest thing in the world. You can actually see it start to droop down just a tad, which doesn't really help in the stability, especially when you're doing that high kick. It will stay there if you kind of lean it more towards the other end, but just something to, you know, look out for. And then the feet swivel also would have been cool to have ratchets. I would have just loved ratchets all over this thing, but it does have quite a few to keep you happy. Now, as you see, a lot of the robot is already molded in color, but the paint apps that it does have are absolutely sharp. Look at the yellow ears here with that little panel lining. Look at the eyes. They're done in a matte finish. Very nice detail. No sloppy paint. The red chest here is just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. You see that right there? Wow, the way they just painted that. I love the black outline around the 17. And look at the red blocks here also with the black outline. Look at the little circles here. Aside from that, everything else is just spray painted, these red bits, and everything else is molded in color. The only other thing that's painted on this here is this little gray area. Also on the back of the wings here, the 17 little tampos, and then this little red spots here. And I actually didn't notice it till just now, but the back of the head also has some nice colors. Now, I keep going on about its size, so what we're going to do is compare him here with a very popular Masterpiece Transformers figure, which is the MP10 Optimus Prime. As you can see, he towers over MP10. He's even bigger than Superion. And for my very loyal Chogokin fans, here he is with the solo Chogokin Daltanias. Now, ideally, this guy should transform. I don't really think I would want this to transform. I would never transform it. And I think that would just kill a lot of the articulation that this has. I mean, it has an insane amount of articulation for its size. One of the things where it does kind of lose out on is the features that you would find like in the Chogokin one, which is the opening doors here where the vehicles would come out. Matter of fact, I'll show you what I mean. These little things flip up and there's a little vehicle in there. And then there's also this here, which is really nice, which the Chogokin doesn't have, at least the one I have there. I don't know about the other figures. Those are the only two I own. Take this off and there's another alternate piece of this, which is this right here. Magic. Alright, so we're going to put this on. Clips right up here, and the reason for that different pieces, you'll see it's got a little panel line here, and that's so you can open this up like that. You just slide it open carefully, and you can see a little weapon display there, which I think is a really neat touch, and I think it kind of makes up for the lack of the other gimmicks. But what really makes up for the lack of the other gimmicks is just how awesome this thing looks, guys. I totally recommend this. If you like the design, you will not be disappointed. If you have any questions or comments regarding this or anything else, please leave them in the comment section. And if you're enjoying the videos, please support the channel here, guys, so I can keep this going. Until next time, bye-bye.